Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, the man overseeing Special Counsel Robert Mueller's probe, will leave the Justice Department in the coming weeks. Rosenstein plans to exit after William Barr is confirmed as Attorney General and stay through the transition. DOJ official tells Fox News there's no reason to think the timing of Rosenstein's departure is in any way connected to the Mueller probe. Joining us now, attorney and former member of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, Cleta Mitchell. And Cleta, we need you desperately to make some sense of what Rosenstein is allegedly doing. 3 different accounts of his plans. And I'm not entirely sure of the sources. Your thoughts?
Well, my understanding is that he has said that he is going to step aside once Mueller's report is delivered to the department. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably a good thing for William Barr's confirmation hearings, because because Rosenstein would be an issue in the Barr confirmation hearing that is, I guess, scheduled for next week. The Democrats would all be trying to get Barr to pledge that he was going to not interfere with Rod Rosenstein and not fire him, etc. So it's probably to Bill Barr's benefit that Rosenstein is stepping aside. And I think that Rosenstein, whatever his name is, he accomplished what he wanted to do, which is that he was able to get Jeff Sessions to step aside and to recuse, and he stepped in and
they've run out the clock.
And then, well, he appointed Mueller, and he's allowed Mueller to do whatever he wants, and that's his buddy. And
why is everybody so, it seems to me that there is almost an obstinate refusal on the part of the national media to focus on the fact that the Republicans got rolled, and the Democrats did a terrific job of it. Culpable are Mitch McConnell, culpable are the dear departed Paul Ryan. Mm-hmm. This has been an unseemly, sordid, corrupt mess that we have witnessed in the leadership of the Republican Capitol Hill, both houses. This is, don't you think there should be a little more accountability than what we see in prospect?
Oh, gosh, where to begin with that question? You remember that Congressman Devin Nunes, who was the chairman of House Intelligence, he went to Paul Ryan and told Paul Ryan in the spring of 2017, we have just discovered that indeed the Obama administration had put the Trump campaign under surveillance. And I would like to go, I want to give you the heads up, I'm going to advise the White House, which he did. Remember, the president said that the Obama administration had his campaign under surveillance. Remember that the national media laughed, scoffed, said he has no evidence. Mm-hmm. And do you remember what Paul Ryan then did? He made Devin Nunes step aside for a period of nearly a year for an ethics investigation. For something that he had been cleared with him before he did it. Now, that to me says everything you need to know. A congressional subpoena, they finally issue a subpoena to Rosenstein.
It's part of what we need to know, Cleta, but the rest that we need to know, when you look at what Ryan and the Republican leadership is culpable of and for, and then you look at what has happened in our Justice Department. Not a single person has been held to account. No. Departed, fired, resigned, retired, reassigned. As Congressman Jim Jordan is fond of saying, he's never seen anything like that in any agency or department in his career. And yet there is not one of them in prospect of punishment for their deeds and their corruption.
Well, we did see some heads roll at DOJ, but we didn't see them prosecuted. Andrew
you saw
McCabe
some heads
fired.
Move. You didn't see any of them prosecuted.
Well, they're all probably still, although McCabe is probably still getting, he may be denied his retirement.
Well, I'm just saying, to this point,
they haven't been prosecuted.
Nothing.
And what makes me upset is, and I think it makes a lot of people upset, is that this whole special counsel situation is a complete farce. This was a, quote, counterintelligence operation from the beginning. And
well, you said it.
It's terrible. It's a farce.
President Obama has immense responsibility here.
Yeah.
And to this point, the national left-wing media has given him an absolute free pass. Cleta, I'm going to have to end it.
Yeah.
You get the quick last word.
I'm just going to say, you know, he's their God, and they think Obama is infallible.